Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace. And I was just thinking of something. Something triggered me to think about this. But in this neighborhood, what it was is I saw two really fancy, boy, what a term to use, two very expensive cars. I think one was a car, and I'm not sure what the other one would be called. But I saw two in one of the houses, by one of the houses, okay? And it made me think about that old expression of keeping up with the Joneses. That was a movie, I know, but I mean, I looked it up and it came out in 1913 on a comic strip about basically trying to keep up with the neighbors that are wealthier, something like that, and buying what they buy. And what it reminded me of was when Adam and I bought our new vehicles. Now, he got his 3 years, I think, before I got mine. And I was surprised he actually bought mine, went out and checked them out and said, hey, come look and see if you want this one. I said, looks fine to me, drives fine to me. Let's get it. But that was 3 years later. But his, when we bought it, when he bought it, he bought it for his brand new. Bought it for, at the time he was working, he knew he was going to retire, and I said that this might be his, it's such a good one, the last one to buy, or next to the last, I don't know, but his retirement vehicle. And like I said, a few years later we bought me one. He's older than I, but anyway, when we bought it, there was a house 2 houses down, and there was these people that lived there. This is, you can see the neighborhood, and the people that lived there, they were from this is Texas. They were from California, and no, that's not important. I lived in California for a while, but I'm Texan. But the woman, she was just a horrible person. I would not have recognized her if I saw her again, but she seemed to think that she ran the show. She ran the whole neighborhood, and people better mind her. And she was really like that. And there's some stuff that I could say, but I'm not going to, that proves that I was right for what I suspected about her. And anyway, they moved. In a way, I kind of think that they got told to move. Yeah. So I think they were breaking some of the rules. Okay, the HOA rules maybe. Or maybe he just got transferred. But in the meanwhile, she would do things like sit outside in her garage, and she'd watch everybody in the neighborhood, and she would make these noises like if anybody came out to get in their car to leave or anything, like me. She would make these noises. Like, she was younger too. She was probably maybe mid-30s, maybe maximum 40. But one day she stomped her butt and with somebody with her across my yard, and ooh, I had my dogs in the back of the Pathfinder I had, and I was opening up. I didn't see them. Nobody goes across somebody's yard. And I opened up, and the dogs I had to shut it because the dogs started, big time barking. They were black labs. One of them, I said, was a black lab mixed with a bear, B-E-A-R. He was mean. I mean, if anybody came next to his human mommy, oh, you're in trouble deep. But anyway, so they turned around and left. She marched with some strong-looking woman. But anyway, she and her husband and her children, they left and moved away. But before they did, they went out and bought the exact same make and model of Adam's new SUV. And it actually had been maybe a year, or maybe, I don't know, before they left. And it was like, you can't get something, what would be the word for it? To have something that is yours and not everybody else in the world has to have it. What is that? There's actually some Christian term for that. What is it? It's on the tip of my tongue. But, is it something about not coveting what your neighbor has? But then these people, you know, that go a little bit further than that. Is that the right word? I'm using the word wrong, probably. But you know what I'm saying. And that's keeping up with the Joneses, and that's what they did. Okay. And like I said, 3 years later, we got my new SUV, bought it new. Both of them were bought new from the dealership. And mine, you know, came home, different color than Adam's and different make, model, and all that. They're both SUVs. And it was nice. It was nice to have it. Well, I don't know how long it took, but the next door neighbor, their daughter, who was, I think, around 30, age 30, she went out and bought the same make and model. One of our next door neighbors. It's like, you can't have anything. I'm not a person to brag. I usually just say anything if it might sound like bragging, as it's more of a matter of fact. But it's kind of nice to have something that is yours, you know? It's not that everybody in the neighborhood has to have the same thing. You know, a little bit of individualism here, I guess you could say. But no, she went and did it. And then that house that those people lived in, they had moved. Somebody else bought the house, and it has a whole bunch of family. I think they had 3 generations living there. And the middle generation, I think it was the son that I really don't like. I wouldn't recognize him either in person. But he was a real jerk when they moved in, and I guess they bought the house. But anyway, he went out and bought the same make and model for his wife. They recently sold it. Same. Oh, by the way, when I say same make and model, it's also, these were the same colors. Okay, but Adam's is one color, mine is a different color. Yeah, they couldn't get the same make and model in a different color. No, they had to have the ones that he had, you know, at first, and then 3 years later, what I have. Okay, now some people would say, oh, that's nothing. No, it is something. It is. I mean, like I said, there's something like that in the Bible. Now, I am not a good person to quote from the Bible. I'm not a perfect Christian, you know, not at all. And I know that I probably should just forgive. I do. I forgive people for what they do. You know, it's no skin off my teeth. I do. You know, I think about it for a while and think, why would somebody do something like that? But, and it could be, some people would say it's flattering. I don't really see it that way, because I've had so many people do the copycat thing. You know, in my life, like I would say, from when I was a child, I remember I had a sister that was horrible. She was, you know, I have 3 sisters, but one of them, she was really, really bad about anything that I said that I liked. And it, you know, I just said, oh, I like that color. And all of a sudden she'd go around, oh, I love this color. And she would steal everything. I'm serious. Like if I said I like this or that or the other, whatever it was, oh, she had to go and tell everyone. And she's quite like that as an adult. You know, I don't really have much to do with her. I really haven't had much to do with her my whole adulthood. Overall, very little to do with her. And none of my sisters. They're not good people. Well, I can't say they're bad, totally bad. They're just not right for me. I was the scapegoat, so don't care for that. Don't have any intention of going back to it. So, look, that was quite noisy. Yeah. But anyway, I grew up with people who, and that wasn't the only person. I mean, I think many of us have experienced that, people who want to keep up with the Joneses, or people who are copycats. You cannot have anything. They have to have it too. Okay? They have to have it, or one of them, when Adam bought his new SUV, you know, when he bought it, I mentioned it, just mentioned it. Like I say, I'm not a braggart type. And I mentioned that he bought himself a new one, and, you know, I was really happy for him. And there was this woman, I think she still makes videos, as do I. I've been making videos for, well, August will be 12 years on YouTube. going with my original channel. But she was making videos too back then, and she had this kind of snobbish kind of attitude, like she was better than everybody, and she only allowed a few people in her circle, and just she was all full of it, you know, full of that, and braggart, and just full of herself. And she made a really negative comment. I mentioned that Adam had bought the new SUV. She put on her video. She didn't leave me comments. I had tried to comment. You know, usually I comment somebody. Back then I would comment every once in a while to, you know, people. I stopped for many years. Still don't like to comment. But she put on her video why that kind. She didn't mention my name. She didn't mention his name. She just said that she would never buy one of those. It's a Ford. Oh, what is it? What is that kind of SUV? It's a nice, expensive one. Okay, it's not a cheap one. And she was saying that she was getting better because she was going to get a used, and she named the name of it. And I'm like, no matter how you slice it and dice it, no. Okay. I'm not one to play those kinds of games. You know, this hierarchy, this totem pole, all that stuff. I'm a social and behavioral scientist, and I'm also a mature adult. Okay? And the people who do those kinds of things, I don't see them as mature adults. Really, I don't. Okay? That they have a flaw going on there that they don't want to correct. They just copycat other people. I just see, that's not all that I see, and it's not every one of them, but yeah, I could sum it up as that, but still leaves out quite a bit. And yeah. Anyway, you know, and now about mine, to go besides the neighborhood thing, I got a new one. I was happy, you know, and I took a picture of it, put it on. That was too close. That was way too close. And I put it up on Facebook, where, okay, that was somebody delivering, and he gets up there and he just throws it, the package, throws it at the door, like you see on these, you know, why am I whispering? I was just telling that to Adam yesterday. I said, why do we do that? You know, when we whisper, we're in an SUV, you know, but we see something, we whisper. Or maybe I should say I whisper. Adam doesn't know how to whisper. Really, I'm not joking there. But, and if I whisper, like we're around people, I'm whispering to him, he'll look at me like, what are you saying? Then he says it out loud, louder. I'm like, that's, you don't understand whisper, do you? He does not. He really won't even. And like playing charades, I told him one day, I said, we're going to play charades and we're not going to yell out the answer. Okay? Because it was something about our dogs, and I didn't want our dogs to get triggered to go crazy, okay? And I said, we're going to play charades and don't yell at the answer. And he'd sit there and he'd figure out, and he'd yell at it. He goes, but that's how it's played. I mean, this man is older than I. I'm like, didn't you just hear what I said? You know? No. But anyway, to get back to this about when I got my SUV, brand new, I put it up on, you know, Facebook. I never ever, the only pictures I think I ever put up really on Facebook, you know, more recent years, was that of a dog, a puppy, and me getting a new SUV, because it had been a while since I had anything new. And I put up there, you know, my family. That's basically who, family and friends that I went to school with. You know, my family of origin. I went no contact with them years ago, but I put up there, and one of my sisters, not the same one, the other one, she immediately said, I put my picture up of my new SUV, and she wrote on it, I just bought a new one too. And so she had to do the same thing, make a picture of it, put it up, all this stuff. I'm like, and of course I couldn't hear that that's what she said, the way she said it. But knowing them, knowing her, yeah. But they're not going to let you have a second to feel good. Or I don't even really feel good. I just thought it was nice to finally have an SUV that I could trust. You know, because I was driving when Adam sold his, well, when Adam not sold his, when he bought his SUV, the one that he was using was a Pathfinder, Nissan Pathfinder, and I think it had close to 400,000 miles on it. We really used that one. And so I started using it, and it was for those years. It was good to get, you know, a new vehicle. But, you know, you just can't have that moment when you feel, okay, great, you know, before somebody tries to put their touch of misery on it. You see what I'm saying? They got to put their touch of misery on it. They have to put it like, I have one, you know. And there is some very, you know, and bring up some negative feelings of something, like I said, touch of misery. You know, some negative feelings about something that I can be even indifferent to it. And somebody do that, and it just brings up that negative. There was something else, you know, that negative feeling. There was something else about recently that happened, and I can't think of what it was. But I have learned not to, and well, the bad thing about this is I have learned in my lifetime to never say anything about my life, like the people I know, because they are going to do something to put a touch of misery on it. Okay? Like when we bought our new house in this neighborhood, this was many years ago, decades ago, and one of my sisters, not the, okay, that's two of them, the other one, okay, she had to say something about my house is a spooky house. Okay, it's brand new. It does kind of have at nighttime. Oh, at nighttime it can look, because it's a 2-story house, it can look a little spooky because something happened. And I had told her about it, but it's actually something that happened. I told her about it, and so she decided she was going to call my house a spooky house. She's going to try to put a touch of misery on it. She's going to try to make something bad about it. You know, this is the kind of people that I grew up around. They want to put a touch of something on it, negative usually, or they'll steal it. Like that same one, when I had gotten my hair done, this was back when she and I were working together, and probably 20 years ago or so, and I got my hair done a certain way, and she had that habit of having her hair with the poofy stuff, you know, for like 20 years, from 20 years before then or something. Maybe not that long, but close enough. And people couldn't tell her, you know, she needs a new style. And I got mine done. It was beautiful. It really was. And her her stepdaughter, she was young, she was a kid, and she said, oh, that's so beautiful, you know. And so that sister stole my hair style and color and all that. Yeah, that's what I have seen so much in my life, is anything that I would have that's good for, you know, that's good. Like I say, I could be indifferent. Me, hairstyles, you know, I don't even like to wear makeup anymore because allergies as it is, and it's just too much trouble to have my eyes itching and all that. And so I seldom ever wear makeup even. And I don't do my hair. I just had it actually, not even 2 weeks ago, I got it cut. And it was 3 tries, finally got in, and had my hairstyle, you know, cut style, and it was horrible. And Adam said, go back and have them redo it. I said, we women don't do that. Because if they don't do it the way he wants it done, he just goes right back to the same people. And I said, we women don't do that. I don't know if other women do it or not. You know, I just told him that. I said, we women don't do that. We're not going to go back to somebody and let them ruin it more. You know? You see what I'm saying? Okay. Your mileage may vary, but I'm not about to. And so I haven't gone to anybody. I'm just letting the season kind of settle down. And plus we were I have curly hair, very thick curly hair, and there's, you know, when it's really dry, and then it just keeps changing. The humidity keeps going up and down. Oh, frizz. So I wasn't going to go again. But anyway, but the whole thing is, these are, get back to this. I'm rambling again. These, so much of my life I've had people steal from me this way. It's like, okay, they have something, we're going to take it. We're going to make sure everybody else sees us. It's like these people, online that steal people's ideas, not just mine, but the people who are not at all creative. And you can tell they are not at all creative. If they try to come up with something themselves, it's disaster. And, but those still people like me, who's small channels, 11 and a half years now, 12 years it'll be 12 years in August. I've seen this plenty in other people, and they take them. So they take it from other people, and then they do them within the next 24 hours, usually. They make the video, put it up. So more people are going to probably see that one, because they build their channel that way. They start off with nothing because they're boring. They're not creative, and then they start stealing people's ideas, stealing other people's, if anybody likes that one, they steal that and they take it from that person. And some of it's copyrighted stuff. They don't care. They get hit with 3 copyright strikes, back to back from some of these people that have proof that they've done it. Not people just saying, that can get you in a lot of trouble. But people who have proof, have actual proof that they take stuff. And that's not what life should be about. I'm gonna look up that word. What is the word I'm actually trying to find, though? So, anyway, that's enough for now.